Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. So this is my second video on the topic. I took a lot of the feedback and comments from the first video, and I had some ideas about ways I could improve on the first video and really show you the aspects of these three triggers. And as you may have noticed sitting there on the table, I got a trigger pull gauge. So I'm going to take an average of 5 from each trigger, and I'll put the numbers up on the screen for you. So the trigger you're looking at here is the Geissele SSA-E, and I think I got 4 more trigger pulls of this. Then we'll do 5 with the MBT, then we'll do 5 with the Geissele SSA trigger. But what I found pretty consistent results on all 3. I tried really hard to hold the trigger pull gauge the same way, pull it at the same angle, and brace the gun the same way each one. So I had a really consistent test, and the numbers prove that. And what I found was pretty accurate with what I felt on the triggers, honestly. If you watch my first video, I said that the SSA-E was the lightest, and the MBT was in the middle. It felt like it was right in between the other two. And then the SSA was on the heavier end of the 3. Not that it's a heavy trigger, but between the 3, it's a little on the heavier end. And as you can see there, the Geissele SSA-E averaged 1 pound, 14.2 ounces on the trigger break in my setup. Of course, that's something you should keep in mind. These are all going to be different. And they're all going to feel a little bit different. I wouldn't subscribe to the camp that because this trigger pull gauge told you a certain weight that's going to be the gospel for how it feels in your hands. Grips are different, lower receivers are different, so the distance between the web of your hand and where the trigger breaks and the bow on the trigger, like they're all going to have a different feel to them, and that's going to change how it feels to you, whether or not it's 2 pounds 6 ounces or 4 pounds 2 ounces. Maybe you can't tell the difference. For me, between these 3, it felt like the MBT was directly in the center between the 2 triggers. And mathematically speaking, when you do the math on the 3 averages, it works out pretty much right in the middle. As you can see, the average is 4 pounds, 3.2 ounces for the SSA. So really fast math. The distance between the SSA-E and the MBT was around 1 pound 4 ounces. And then the distance between the MBT to the SSA was around 1.15 or 1.12 or so ounces. So very, very similar distance between them. It puts the MBT right about smack in between the SSA-E and the SSA. So here, okay, you were just looking at the SSA-E. Now this is the MBT, and this is just to show you the distance for the trigger reset and the break and that kind of stuff. To me, they all feel pretty similar in that arena. How far your finger moves, like you can't really tell the difference. Again, it's going to be super subjective based on the grip you have on that gun. Like it's going to feel different in 2 different guns with 2 different grips. So I don't subscribe too much to that camp. But between the 3, they're pretty similar. So the feel on the triggers, though, in general, because the Larue is a flatter bow, if you look back, it's a flatter trigger bow than the Geissele's. So it just has a different feel to it. Also, as in addition to being more straight up and down, it's a wider trigger. So it gives your finger more surface area. It feels like a little bit lighter trigger than it is. It's kind of deceiving. It's just different. You got to try them out for yourself. All right, which one's the best? Spoiler alert, best is subjective. I don't agree when someone comes in and says this is the best of the 3, because that's really just an opinionated statement. Best is what I think, right? So for my needs, that's what best really means. These are all high quality triggers. Any one of them is going to fill your needs. Depends on the role you have for your gun and the role you want for your trigger, honestly. If it's a bench gun, I'd take the SSA-E because it's the lightest. It's going to give you the highest potential to produce groups at the bench. But if it's a combat gun, I'd go for a little bit heavier trigger so you don't accidentally flick it and have it going off too early. Depends on your needs. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, and have a nice day.